Okay, welcome class. We're going to discuss a few of the details about side posture, our push move. In particular, our stabilization points. We'll have 2 doctor applied stabilization points to the patient, and the table will supply the 3rd stabilization point. We want to make sure that we get the patient set up properly on the table to make our job easier so we don't have to struggle through making the side posture adjustment. First thing you'll want to do is untuck the patient's pelvis. That is done by pulling the patient down towards the foot of the table at the bottom of the pelvis and straightening the pelvis out this way so we can get that spine in line. Second thing we do is we make sure that the bottom leg is straight and that the patient's foot is off the table so that they can't fight us as they're turning over, and helps keep them on the table a little more stable. We're going to pan in a little closer. What we're going to discuss now is the actual stabilization point on the leg or the thigh. The purpose of this stabilization is to create tension. It's to open up the segment and prepare the segment for the adjustment, so it opens it up as we apply the stabilization. The stabilization is going to come in towards the table. I'm going to use my little stick here to show you the direction. We want to compress the patient's thigh in towards the table. We're not just going to use the knee here as a lever point to just crank the patient around as a torque arm. That's not the intent of our stabilization. The intent of the stabilization is to come in towards the table. So when we compress the patient's leg, we open up the joint. You might be able to see the joint want to open up back here. As I compress in, you can see the joint open up in the pelvis back there. Okay? So I'm going to ask the patient to scoot in just a little bit more. Keep this bottom leg straight. We're going to make sure that our leg is aligned with the patient's leg and the posterior aspect of the thigh. I'm going to roll the patient in. Okay. I'm going to make my tissue pull. Secondary tissue pull with the fleshy pies form. Lock that in. Get this leg to where we need it. Hold it there, and you'll see my thigh against the patient's thigh as we bring him in and stabilize him for the adjustment. So when we do the drop, we come in towards the table like this to open up the joint as we impulse P to A. Okay? It's very important for all those aspects. I'm going to pan back now. Now each one of us has a little bit of a different body type, so we'll all look a little bit different when doing this technique. But you'll have to adapt the technique to suit your body type as well as the patient's body type when handling this adjustment. And we'll give you a chance to go practice with your spine or roommate or whoever else you have handy to practice with, and we'll see you in the next video.